GamingBolt presents 15 new features in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare you need to know about. Call of Duty has been the biggest franchise in the world for nearly 10 years now, and while the series may have waned a bit in the past couple of years, Infinite Warfare looks to try a bevy of new things. Here are 15 brand new features in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare that you need to know about. Space Battles. We've had vehicle sections in Call of Duty before, but the space battles of Infinite Warfare look like they will give players a sweeping sandbox to soar through, ripping apart enemy ships and weaving your way through the fields of debris. We're not sure how much of the game will be experienced from a cockpit, but what we've seen looks good enough to warrant a couple ship-based levels. Zero-G Combat. Call of Duty is leaving the stratosphere, but the bullets still fly in the void that is outer space. Enemies desperately cling to the metal surfaces of ships and space stations, firing off their weapons and trying to not drift into the endless abyss. So when you work your way through a group of enemies, their lifeless bodies will float across the battlefield. Grappling Hook. Shooting in space sounds great, but how are you going to get around? Zero-G makes it a little difficult to actually do anything but float. Thankfully, there's the new Grappling Hook to help you zip around the outside of hulking space stations and draw enemies closer to you, opening them up to attack. It makes the relatively slow pace of space combat seem much more fast and frantic. Zombies in SPACELAND. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is bringing back Zombies mode, but this time it's bigger and crazier than ever. Taking place in an interstellar amusement park called SPACELAND, a crew of degenerates straight out of the 80s will storm the park and rid the once shimmering grounds of the undead. Kit Harington is the bad guy. Call of Duty has enlisted the help of some incredibly well-known actors over the past few years, and now Kit Harington of Game of Thrones fame will join Infinite Warfare as the game's dastardly enemy. The majority of his roles have cast him as a hero, so it'll be interesting to see what he can bring to a more villainous role. Futuristic weaponry. Like the past two entries in the franchise, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is moving the series even further into the future. This means robots as comrades, guns that fire streams of pure heat, and a slew of weapons that defy science and logic. Even if Call of Duty has left realism behind, its weapons continue to excite and surprise, and the newest batch looks to be no different. Multiplayer maps. The game may still be set on the ground, but that doesn't mean it has to be all on Earth. Some of the game's multiplayer maps will be on other planets, taking online battles to alien battlegrounds and leaving behind the worn-down shipyards and military bases that have defined many of the series' past maps. Gruesome cinematic kills. The E3 single-player demo spent a lot of time in space, and there was a moment that seemed different than anything else in the series. The player grapples an enemy close to them, quickly grabs their oxygen mask and wrenches it off, watching it float away as its wearer quickly suffocates in front of your eyes. It's a more brutal melee kill that will highlight the dangers that lurk among the stars. Ground combat. Yes, Infinite Warfare is set in space, but that doesn't mean that it leaves Earth behind. Ground combat is still a large part of the game, at least in the single player. It hasn't changed much since Black Ops 3, but multiplayer will still have wall running and other movement abilities. Side missions. As you journey through the game's bombastic campaign, new side quest lines will open up, offering up new upgrades and story moments. Hopefully, this will serve to flesh out the story mode, giving us more stellar single-player segments and make the campaign more than just 6 hours of explosions. The new Zombie mode. Every Zombies mode in the Call of Duty series has some gimmick or group of gadgets that differentiate it from all the other corpse-killing modes. SPACELAND will still likely have mainstays like mystery boxes, but frost weaponry, laser pistols, and strange machines to use will surely keep things fresh even 30 rounds in. Rides in the Zombies mode. SPACELAND, the setting of the game's Zombies mode, has more to it than meets the eye. There's a bunch of rides spread throughout the theme park. Players can hop on the carnival rides and spin in giant metallic circles, tearing through hordes of the undead. They'll likely be difficult to power up, but they look like invaluable resources from what we've seen. Campaign follows Captain Nick Reyes. The campaign will follow Captain Nick Reyes as he wages a war both on Earth and in the stars surrounding it. The Earth has been ravaged and all of its resources have been depleted. Most of the world's factions have banded together to leave the drained husk behind, but a new group emerges to combat this goal, making things complicated and giving the player plenty of interstellar shooting to do. Multiplayer like Black Ops 3. For those of you worried that the move into space would do away with the combat abilities that have defined the last two iterations of the series' multiplayer, then fret no more. Infinity Ward has confirmed that the chain movement system from Black Ops 3 has influenced the movement in Infinite Warfare, so getting around the map will be as fast and fluid as ever. New gadgets. It's not just about the guns in Call of Duty. The gadgets and other armaments are just as big a part of a soldier's armory as they storm in battle, and Infinite Warfare is not lacking in this department. The spider-bot grenades scuttle across the ground and through windows and up walls, searching for an unsuspecting enemy to blow to smithereens. We don't know too much else about the game's gadgets, but rest assured there is more to come. And that wraps it up. What are your thoughts about this? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and share it on Twitter and Facebook. And why not consider subscribing? We upload some really cool videos almost every day. Thank you for watching this video, and happy gaming!